How's it going, everybody? And welcome to, well, I guess we need to tell everybody what we're doing. Uh, so, for those who remember us, my name is Mac, aka Mac the VC on Twitter, and I am going to be your host along with my amazing co-host Liam Gill. How are you doing over there, Liam?
Doing well, getting used to having to sort out the whole podcast and the back end ourselves, but we're building out loud, as they say, and we're doing it on the go.
Building Out Loud. Yes, a new podcast from Matt Conwell and Liam Gill. You will know us from our previous podcast, Inside Business Pod, back when we were inside, but things have changed. We have since left inside and we have gone rogue. We are now free agents. So for all those out there listening, if you have a podcast audience, if you have a podcast group, we are free agents. So please make sure you tweet at and tag all your favorite podcast groups out there and let them know that the highest free agents on the market are out here. It's me and Liam for Building Out Loud. So Liam, what the hell is Building Out Loud? What are we about to do? What are we talking about?
Yeah, well, I think there's going to be a mix of a few things. Obviously, with our backgrounds, yourself being a VC, and me, going between legal work, helping founders, and starting my own businesses. It's a chance for us to talk and to share our experiences, what we've done, what we're going to do. I think it's also a chance for us, and you'll see this in the first few episodes, especially, to build alongside you, for you to see us building this podcast from the ground up. One of the unique things here is we're not gonna hide things or have a company doing things or none of that shit. We're doing everything out in the open. You're gonna see us succeed, fail, make mistakes. You're gonna see how we market stuff, how we go about building this. So we're gonna be building this podcast the same way that our audience is building their companies, and they're gonna see that the advice that we give, the stories we share, the experiences that we have, all the stuff that we say, it's not just bullshit. It's not just us talking down to people. It's not just us spewing whatever. This is actually what we believe. It's what we do, and you're going to see us doing it. Whether it's with our own companies or with this podcast, you're going to see us take something from the ground up.
That's right. Me and Liam are building out loud. Liam, the entrepreneur, me, the evil VC. As I, look to raise another fund after raising Fund One, and what that journey is going to be like, you get to go on that, and we'll be answering all of your questions along the way. Very similar to what we did before for Inside Business, just now on our own terms. Will we have guests and interviews every now and then? Sure. But what we're really here is to give you our advice, opinion, and perspective on your burning questions of how to find a VC, how to interview VCs, what do you do when you and your co-founders can't get along, how to manage having co-founders, how to find a co-founder, anything and everything that has to do with your business. And also, Liam's also a lawyer, so he'll be hitting us with all the legal stuff, mumbo jumbo, to make sure nobody gets sued and to also answer all of your legal questions. Oh, and by the way, Liam, don't you have a legal set of resources for companies? What's that called?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I've got a website called Law for Startups, which has a whole bunch of free contracts. They've got a newsletter up to 30,000 people. And hopefully one of the things that people will see in the next few months is me actually continuing to grow that and expand that. So obviously it's been around for 18 months. I'm assuming a lot of people who listen to the podcast are already members, given that the audience is larger than our podcast audience was. But yeah, I think you're going to see, I'll start from the top. When I left my last company, I saw that 46,000 of the first 100K that we raised went to legal fees. And I had no idea how to solve that, what to do about that, nothing. And I had taken the job at Inside. I knew that I wasn't going to start another company anytime soon. So I decided I was just going to put up a website, and in my spare time, I was going to write contracts. I was going to write templates. I was going to write a weekly newsletter with just important legal information and just put it out there completely free. Any founder can access it. And my hope was that someone else along the way who came after me might just benefit from saving a few grand when they're at the pre-seed stage or at the seed stage. And over the last 18 months, it's obviously grown far larger than I thought it would. Obviously, having like 30,000 subscribers to a weekly email is, far more than I ever thought we would. It's the same amount that like some of, the bigger site and turning it from a free tool and a free resource into an actual full-fledged startup and something that they can actually benefit from, something that they can become a member of, something that in my opinion will eventually replace law firms, is having more digital legal services. Because if you want to hire me or my boss, you're paying a few hundred an hour. If you want to use our site, you might pay $20 a month. So that's a process, as part of building out loud, that I want to actually do on the podcast. I want to explain how I'm going from A to B. And I hope that, especially starting towards the latter end of the summer, that people will see me taking this from what has been a free service into a full-fledged startup and see it growing and scaling.
Then on my side, for those who have followed me and Liam, you got to see what it was like for me to raise my fund. Or I talked about my fund, Rare Breed Ventures, quite a bit. I think for this one, you're going to hear me talk a lot more about the actual fundraising process and what I'm going through and how it's working. You'll probably get a weekly check-in on just what's that process like. Raising a venture fund is no easy task. And so let's give you an insider's view of how it goes. And so basically, me and Liam are going to be interviewing each other every week, trying to figure out how we're doing and how everything's going, while also answering your amazing questions and every now and then having a really dope guest. So while you're out there, please make sure you follow me and Liam on Twitter. Let us know what your questions are. Let us know what you would like us to talk about, what you want us to answer, or what are there any hot topics out there that you think we should touch on? Should we be talking about the Elizabeth Holmes case? Should we be talking about the stock market? Should we be talking about how things that happen in geopolitical situations affect startup funding? Anything we are happy to tackle. If it is out of our realm, we will ignore it. If it's something that we think we could talk about, we will talk about it. Make it simple. And so I hope everybody's going to like this one. I think it's going to be a fun podcast. Who knows what the hell it'll turn into? Me and Liam will figure it out as we go. And by the way, anybody who would like to join this ragtag team of pirates out here, feel free to reach out to us. We are always looking for help. We're always looking for supporters. We're always looking for teammates.
Yeah.
And so Liam, what's the best way for everybody to get in touch with the crew?
Man, I think at this point it's probably just reaching out to one of us on Twitter. Don't necessarily have socials up for the pod or any email. But that's probably the best place to start for now. One thing I was gonna add was that if anyone has any questions, I know Max said feel free to reach out with topics, but I wanna expand that from in our last podcast we really focused on building companies and marketing and growth and management. But I think with this we have a bit more freedom, we have a bit more leeway. Obviously we can do whatever the hell we want. So I think if you have anything that's tangential to that as well, and by that I mean things to do with your health, how do you stay healthy, or how do you as a founder invest. We all know that founders often make a lot less money. Most of their financial wealth is tied up in the equity of their startups. What do you do with your money? As Mac mentioned, there's potentially investing in stocks or 401ks. Obviously we can't give financial or legal advice, but what we can do is just share what we've done and what we've seen other people do and maybe help you out. Because I think there's a lot of founders who they're so focused on, and this is pointed out to me by a few people in my life, when you're running your company, you're so focused on that the rest of your life falls apart. Basic shit like doing your taxes, you forget that that's an actual thing you have to do, on a personal level. I always did the company taxes, I always forgot to do mine, and I always had to my accountant do them at the last minute, and that costs a lot of money personally. So dealing with those personal problems, how to stay healthy, how to take care of your mental health, your physical health, how to take care of your personal finances, things like that. If those are things that you're struggling with and there's enough people that are having trouble with that as a founder, one, happy to give our personal perspectives. And if it is, a really big issue, we can always bring on someone who is actually a financial advisor, someone who actually does, practice work in like mental health or as a doctor or has specialty in those areas to try to give you guys some advice. Because at the end of the day, one of the things that I think Mac and I, and Max, jump in if you disagree, but like having gone through the process, I think one of the things you realize when you're on the other end of being a founder sometimes is that you were so focused on the company that you actually end up hurting the company by not taking care of yourself and not taking care of the people around you. So I think founders should have a bit more of a holistic approach to the way that they go about building their businesses. And that includes realizing that like you are one of the most important people and that you need to take care of yourself if the company is going to succeed.
I 100% agree. So again, we are also going to be a podcast with a soul. Let you founders know, hey, we understand what you do is really hard and you need to take good care of yourself, as Liam takes a giant swig of an energy drink that's probably completely unhealthy for him, as we just talked about how you should take good care of yourself. But that I digress. Yes, as a founder, make sure you take care of yourself. We will talk about it. We will talk about, different kind of unique, different kind of trends, different tools, different techniques, different things that you can do to make yourself the best person you can be so that you can be the best founder you can be. Did I hit on it, Liam? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what I'm trying to get at. Because, at least in my experience, I've seen a lot of founders, myself included, like you try everything. You try like, polyphasic sleep. You try like biphasic sleep. You're like, oh, if I sleep in like 3 2-hour sessions, can I save an extra hour a day? Like if I sleep in like 4 1-hour sessions, can I save a few hours a day? Like we've tried all of that. And like, at the end of the day, hearing it from people who have done it and potentially hearing it from guests who actually have studied it will help you guys actually benefit. And as Max says, neither one of us are perfect. I am still drinking an energy drink and I was up at 6 a.m. and went to bed at 1. So that's not exactly healthy, but at the end of the day, we know that everyone is doing their best and we're just here to try to help you guys. At times, anyone who listened to our last podcast will know that the two of us are pretty honest and open with our own failures and our own faults. I'm the first to admit that, I've not been the healthiest in the past year and a half or 2 years. And to this day, continue to like work myself into the ground and sometimes need a break. Like, doesn't mean that I'm not trying to get better. Doesn't mean that like we can't still share like our own experiences and, join you guys on the journey, or you guys join us on ours. And, together we can motivate each other, encourage each other, and help everyone move forward.
That's right. We'll get there together, as I am currently working myself to recover from burnout. So yes, me and Liam are not perfect, but we've been there, we've lived in, so we can give you our advice and hopefully advice from others. I think that's about it. It's gonna be a fun time. I hope everybody enjoys listening. Building Out Loud, coming soon to a podcast server near you. So with all that, hope everybody enjoyed this one. This is just a trailer, little teaser, a lot more to come. But before we go, any last words for the folks, Liam?
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't take me too long to figure out how to edit this and post it on an RSS feed and get it up onto Apple and Google and wherever the hell else I'm supposed to be uploading podcasts nowadays. This is one of the new things about doing our own podcast. We don't have a whole team behind us to do this for us.
Yes. But if you want to be part of that team to help us do this, please feel free to reach out. And so with that, hope everybody has a good one. Peace out, y'all. Now you stop recording.